right, everybody. How you doing? So this is another one of the Reup podcast here at our Customer Appreciation Day. Thank you for everyone that came out. Right now, I've got Leticia from Fulton Grace Realty. I'm not even going to pretend to say your last name right because I was just butchering it so bad. So would you tell our audience how to say it and say it correctly?
Absolutely. I always say, hola mi gente, this is Leticia Andrade from Fulton Grace. Yes. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so glad to get to meet you. We hadn't met before. But yeah, thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. So how did you get into real estate? What drew you to it, if there was one?
Absolutely. Well, I am a single mother of 2 girls. But back then, what brought me into real estate at the age of 23, I decided to buy a condo.
Cool.
So that's kind of what led me into pushing me to get my real estate license.
Yeah.
I started off actually as a loan processor.
Oh, really? So you had the
yeah.
back end first.
Back end first.
Yeah.
So that was in my early 20s. They recruited me to become a loan processor.
Cool.
And fell in love with real estate. Not really the loan side, but I decided to get my license in 2005.
Cool.
And that led me into buying my first condo at the age of 23. And I just loved it ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Look at you. That's so cool. Where have you been with the same place throughout that whole time? Or you been
Yeah, a little bit. So when in 2008, when everything kind of went downhill, I stopped processing and I became a personal banker at Chase. So I was a personal banker at Chase for about 4 years.
Part of the machine.
I just it was a natural progression. Totally. I was also recruited to be a personal banker. Cool. I had to make the money just to, provide for my family. So I had my licensing in hold for the time frame that I was at Chase Bank. But it was a great learning experience. And the reason why I got hired at Chase is because I'm bilingual. I speak English and Spanish.
Yeah.
So not having any experience as a banker, but they train you, they do all of that. But that was the main reason of me actually having that nice shift, that nice progression in becoming a personal banker at Chase. 4 years.
How powerful is it to be bilingual? I feel like that was one of the great failures, at least for my family.
No failures.
Not failures, but it's definitely put me back behind the 8 ball of not being able to speak Spanish. There's opportunities that I've really missed out on, connections with people even, that I really wish. I mean, my life's not over or anything, and not like I can't learn, but it would be really beneficial, especially in this industry. And so I have 2 daughters, and I tell them that each and every day. One of them is 25 now, the other one's 19. Yeah.
So all through their life, I said, being bilingual definitely brings you a step up from the competition.
1,000,000%.
And, regardless of what industry you go into, it's very beneficial.
Yeah.
So they are bilingual. They're not as confident, but I didn't get that confidence until later on in life.
Yeah.
So once I was, I didn't finish college. Like I said, I was a young mom, but with the work experience and actually practicing through all of my job positions, it's really helped me elaborate and be able to speak fluently in Spanish.
And articulate well.
Absolutely.
How big is that? Yeah, it's wild to just how important it is to be able to speak, and whether it's Spanish, I imagine, or English, it's speak concisely, speak with conviction, and with some sort of gravitas behind you.
I don't have a problem with that.
yeah. But it's interesting how far that can take you, just having some confidence behind you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's amazing. I clap my hands to you about making sure that they understand the importance, your daughters, of speaking 2 languages, because that's going to take them other places.
Absolutely.
So good for you. Good for doing that.
Thank you.
How do you see the current state of real estate? What are some of the trends that you're noticing?
Right now.
Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, right now I'm working with buyers and sellers.
Totally.
As I'm progressing, I'm so blessed right now. I have several listings that I'm helping with and making sure that we're positioning ourselves in the right manner. It's been a shift. So I have a condo right now in Logan Square. We started off at $380,000, 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo. We already see the shift where that's not where we're priced at right now.
Yeah.
So they are buyers out there, and the sellers that are out there, what I can say to them is make sure that you're pricing your property, your condo properly, because once you price right, you are going to sell.
Oh,
the buyers that are out there are buying, but some of our sellers are still kind of, thinking that we're in that multiple offer situation where they can price the property at a higher price and get that. Right. I do understand that that's where it was.
Yeah,
now we're in a totally different shift. Yeah. And I could even say that 6 to 8 months ago.
Yeah.
And
really?
Then, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you don't even think with the inventory being so low is that why some sellers are like, what do you mean?
It depends, right? So you have some buyers, and I had some buyers that kind of had to come into a reality check where there were multiple offer situations. And I even pull up the stats now, the same properties that we made offers on. And I'll give you a quick example. We had a property that was listed around the 650 range. It actually sold for about 685. And I put that these buyers that were buying and they placed the offer, they still wanted to think old mentality where you can go ahead and under offer what either at listing price or slightly below. And the reality was they're not listening to their brokers, and they didn't listen to me. And I said, I'm sorry. Yeah, shame on you. I'm sorry, but I know that this property is going to sell for more. Yeah. And I actually gave them 3 examples of properties that they wanted to make offers on, and 2 of them that they did make offers on that went either $30,000 to $50,000 over list price.
How difficult is it for you to be a real estate agent when you have potential buyers that are in love with a house and now they have to spend $50K plus, and you're like, I'm sorry, that's just is what it is? That's crazy. Like,
it is crazy.
I've asked several real estate agents that, and I still can't wrap my mind. I'll be like, wait, what? That's how I feel every time. Like, what do you mean I have to pay $50K more?
I agree with you. And I think that when you are working with a good real estate broker, and this is where I get mind blown, some of these real estate brokers are not doing their homework. And when I say homework, it is very important to have a professional real estate broker do a CMA for you, a comparative market analysis report. Yeah. Because with that report, you are looking at what has sold within the last 6 months, and you have to compare apples to apples. So that report has to have a similar property in the range of where, the property that you are making the offer on. You can't be no more than, not even a mile from the property. And you're comparing apples to apples, the similar bedrooms, the similar style. All of that, right? Square footage, all of that. And I have found that some of the buyers that have come to me have never even heard of that from their previous broker. Because sometimes, I get these buyers that have worked with someone else before, and they're just kind of going with the flow, and they're not doing the homework.
You worked with someone's cousin.
Oh, yes.
And they might do it on the side.
Yeah, exactly. And what they don't know is that it's very particular. We are the first ones before the appraiser even goes. And what appraisal is, and people don't understand, that is the protection for you as well to make sure the bank is not giving you more than what the property is worth. Right? So that's the protection for the bank, but also for you as a buyer.
Yeah, totally.
And that's what a good real estate broker is going to look out for, the buyer's best interest in making sure we're not going to overpay. So what that means in this competitive market is that we're doing our homework. We're making sure you're not overpaying. But if we see the potential, and maybe the listing broker has a strategy of how they're marketing the property, either they're going to market it slightly under market value or maybe right at market value, so they can test to see how much is a buyer willing to pay for the property. Because, the property is only worth what somebody's willing to pay for it.
So that makes me think about this. So if you're an agent, right, and your buyer is like, I might need to spend $50K plus, do you ever have it in the back of your mind like, well, this property's not, like, you are really overpaying, and like,
absolutely,
in good conscience, I can't be like, you should pay that. Does that ever cross your mind?
No. So what happens in that situation is if it's financed, we have another situation if they want to buy cash and the seller wants to sell it and the buyer's willing to buy it for that price, you could go ahead and do that all day long. But it's when you want that property to be financed is where we're going to see the trouble. So when we had that multiple offer situation, some sellers were requiring the buyers to come in with an appraisal waiver. So what that meant, like a release. So like if the property comes in at a lower value, they were saying, you're agreeing to sign this waiver saying that regardless of what the appraised amount comes in at, you're gonna give me that extra $10,000 or $20,000.
Well, I mean, that's smart on the potential seller, and if you.
But as a good buyer's agent, you're going to be able to set the proper expectations with your buyer and tell them, hey, this is what I think it's worth, or this is the range. This is the last property similar to this property has sold for this amount.
Totally.
And we have to do, and what I tell my buyers and sellers is that I have to do the CMA report and I have to update it constantly. Especially the ones that are on the market right now, because if there's a sale that similar layout, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, or whatever it is that you have, and they sell 10, 20,000 under, then we might have to do a price adjustment, or we might have to consider that offer that maybe we would have not considered before.
That makes so much sense. So with your background in lending, right? Does that then give you, in your perspective, a better feel for the lenders that you then reference to people? Because at least in our business, the power of me being able to facilitate needs to people, like, hey, I might not do that, but I got a guy, or I've got a woman that kills it. And then it's similar in your industry, I'm sure, as well. And for you, do you find that like when you're able to facilitate like that, like the return on that, on their like trust in you, like, oh, they referred me someone that was killer, kick ass. They must they only, you kind of get that. Do you see that, or is that something that rings true?
It does ring true, because what I have learned is, as far as me growing in this field and in this industry, especially with the relationships, what I have found, and this is something that I do religiously, is I have that one-on-one buyer consultation or seller consultation where I sit with them. And actually, if I didn't know them in the past, I get referrals from past clients, things like that, and maybe they don't know me personally. I think that relationship and that trust building of that first meeting is so important.
Well, that's everything.
It is everything.
So when you were a young agent, did you perchance have someone that showed you the ropes of like, this is how business works through relationships? Like, sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know, and how you can really build that connection with people. Because at the end of the day, you work with people you like, and if you don't like them, then I don't want to work with you, right?
Well, that's where the difference from being a transactional agent and being a relationship agent is two very different things.
Yeah.
A transactional agent is gonna just do the work and you close and you forget about them. Right? Yeah, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
But a relational agent, and that's what I've grown into. I'm not going to say I started immediately right.
Yeah.
And so now I'm learning relationships do matter.
100%.
And I need to be the one that follows up, be the one that cares, and be more personal.
Yeah.
I always believe that. I recognize, their birthdays. I recognize their children's birthdays. There's so many things that you could actually do. And we have so many tools to help us do that, right?
Yeah.
We have Facebook, we have Instagram. I'm really big on Instagram. I'm dabbling into TikTok right now.
Yeah. You have to.
Yes, you have to kind of change with how people are engaging with you. So that relationship and being top of mind. One of my buyers, they've been in their home already for 2 years. They just had a new baby.
Yeah.
And I found out, obviously I saw their post on Facebook and I immediately commented and I'm like, hey, what's the baby's new name? And it's a boy, and how happy they are. And you just have to be there, be top of mind, and just be genuine. And I think that genuine feeling of you being interested in their life they're going to show an interest in you, and they're going to be your top supporters.
100%. That is one of the hardest things that it took for me to learn was a lot of this, like being in a it's a relationship with these people, because I've been behind the camera. Like at the end of the day, I'm like an artistic guy that like sits behind my computer. And when you own your own business, much like you have to be I'm a sales, and I don't mean it like need to be forward facing. And there's a lot of other things that come with being forward facing and just being more connected with people is something that it didn't come natural to me initially. And not saying it still does, but I think I've gotten better at it because it's been like, I need to do this or I will never grow. I will never become better.
Exactly.
And, going to piggyback off into this, the importance of social media and how that can allow your authentic you to be shown through video. And like, I think that's some of the biggest things. One of the biggest features of social media is that it allows people to understand the authentic or part of you.
Yes.
And that it releases the veil of like, there's always that thin veil before you really meet someone, and social media allows you to release that. And now I've already had the warm handshake before the warm handshake.
Yes.
And
you know what? A lot of people have told me that they feel like they know me already.
Exactly. And that's great. That's the whole damn point.
Yeah, exactly. And when I meet them, I'm a hugger. So I truly give you a hug, and I'm truly very happy to meet you in person, because that is where we're going to start building that connection. And that's where you're going to actually trust me. So when we go out, I always tell my clients, the fun part is for us to go out and tour all these properties. That's the fun part. Right. And then all the other stuff is a little bit more, hands in paper, but that's going to be the ultimate fun part. But when I meet you for the first time, some of them have told me that was like, I felt like I know you because I do share a lot of my, not only real estate, but my daughter's, accomplishments.
So your personal.
All my personal stuff.
So there's two things to it, in my opinion, right? I think social media is the best part to become an expert, become like, I am legit. And then it also gives you the part to not be a robot.
Yes.
Like, while you're the expert, but I also have I like fishing. I like going out. I like my kids. I like whatever they do. Like, that's the yin and the yang of it. While I would always believe that education is the pillar.
You just touched something.
Yeah, the pillar of your whole house.
Yeah.
That is your brand. And then these other things are like the frosting or the cherry on top, while your cake is to me education and teaching and showing that you are that local expert.
And I love that. So one of the things that I implemented was my Wisdom Wednesday segments.
Perfect.
So I do that. I've been doing that over a year and a half consistently every Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I've been very proud of that, because that's the education piece. I am bringing some good content, and it's not all about me. I bring in special guests. I bring in experts. I bring in people to talk about topics, and it doesn't have to be all real estate. It can be personal. I'm very religious. I'm a Christian. It can be, faith-based. There's so many aspects. I also do, financial literacy for children.
Nice.
From 5 years old all the way to teens, because my daughter just went to college. It's her first year.
Cool.
And guess what? They don't teach that in high school.
No,
she went to the best high school that I think I'm advocate, but she went to Whitney Young High School, one of the best high schools in the city of Chicago. And that's not one of the curriculums that even now, where I think it's so important to teach.
Yeah.
And I think that is definitely something that we're implementing, and we're getting the little ones to learn about budgeting and saving and all of that, right? From 5 years old all the way from 13 to 18, where they're learning more about, hey, what am I doing with my money? How are they going to save for, whatever particular things? And we teach them about wants and needs,
assets,
and that all of that, And budgeting is so important, especially at that age, because once they go off to college, they're on their own, and now they have to kind of like wing it if they don't know anything.
Well, that's me to a T. Was just like, I guess we're gonna figure this out, you know. I will say this and give this to my parents credit. Like, they always did teach me the value of working hard and like how it all stems from that idea. But they didn't also be like, hey, after you've worked really hard, how do we position you to like set yourself up? And it's not, I'm one of 6. So, by the end, I'm the youngest. They were like, I'm a little tired.
Oh, yeah. Well, always.
So I never hold that against you.
The second one or the third or the fourth always gets kind of like the hand-me-downs, right?
Yeah.
And the main focus is always on the first because the parents are also learning. And I learned that myself.
Did you?
But one of the things that I definitely wanted to advocate to my daughter, my 25-year-old, she actually purchased her first condo at the age of 23. So I definitely did not want her to rent.
That's so smart.
And I wanted to teach her and I wanted to practice what I preach, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm doing this education. I'm advocating for other buyers and sellers to go ahead and invest in real estate because I think real estate is the best investment that you can make. And I want to teach her how to build generational wealth.
Yeah, 100%.
At the age of 23, she bought a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo. It was a fixer-upper. And now, and what I can tell her right now, even when she first bought the condo at the age of 23, she saved $200 right off the bat. She was looking at rentals that were about $1,550, and her mortgage, including her assessment fee, is under $1,300.
Yeah.
So she, right off the bat, saved money. And now, if she were ever to want to, have a family and buy her single family home, she can sell that right now. She would make over $50,000 in equity.
Damn.
And that was in the short time frame. So I said, hey, this is something that we need to teach others.
Yeah.
Hello, mind blown.
Yeah.
So that we're looking at now millennials buying sooner than waiting.
Which we all are waiting. Which, if you look at it, it's like really the statistic of it all is like we are not buying. We are renting, which is a big issue for us. I mean, I'm part of it. It's like, A, did I think I was ready to? B, did I even know how that worked? Or like, I think that's always the difficult part is the barrier of entry. And maybe it's made to seem so much more complicated than it really is.
Absolutely. And this is where that education part comes in to what I love to do, right? Because I love my job. I love what to do and I love educating people. When I do a comparison and I say, hey, how much is your rent? And I said, how about if we get you into a home for less than what you're paying in rent right now?
Yeah.
And that's when people's eyes open and they're like, wow, are you serious?
Yeah.
I could actually be a homeowner, either of a condo, a townhome, or a single family, depending on the area that you want to live in. Yeah. Is like, yes, let's go ahead and see how much buying power you have right now, because actually the cost of you waiting might be like against your benefit.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I've totally get that. I've waited far too long. So with going back to a little bit to the social media, do you find that it's a lead generating proposition for you? It's hard to because it's abstract to some people. It's like, well, what do you mean? We're gonna just kind of morph my marketing to here and I'm gonna get leads and I'm just posting. It's like, yeah, like you will get leads and it's not like going to happen overnight, but like the more you put into it, the more you keep being consistent, you will start to see that return. Can you speak to that for some people that are nervous about it?
Yeah, I think using social media, number one, it's free.
100%.
It's free marketing for you. And I think that's so important, especially in your marketing budget, right? It's like a free tool that you could use. I started becoming an advocate of just, Instagram, really focusing on one, and then it can filter into another, like Facebook, where anything that you do on Instagram can go ahead and immediately filter to Facebook. And then now I'm seeing that as well with posting on TikTok and having it more fun, where you could use a lot more music and your creativity. Mm-hmm. But I definitely, for myself, have seen leads come through social media solely. They will DM me. their information saying, hey, Leticia, I am ready to buy a house.
Yeah,
I've
let's go.
seen your success stories, and I want to be the next success story on your Instagram page.
Let's go.
So exactly. And I had someone just recently, a millennial. I joked, in my headline, I'm like, hey, they were so excited to close on their home that they brought their U-Haul to the closing. And they actually did. They packed up after the final walkthrough.
Yeah.
And I met with them. Our closing was at 2:00. Their U-Haul was in the parking lot of the title company. And as soon as we closed, as soon as they got their keys, they went off to unpack in their new home.
Let's go.
So these are the wonderful stories that I get to share. And that's what it is. We're storytelling, right? Even with this podcast, we're storytelling. Yeah. We're letting our audience know the importance of what we're passionate about so that we can share that with them. And so that possibly we can pique their interest. And then they can be like, hey,
keep going.
I want that for me.
Yeah.
I want that life. I want to buy a home. I want to have that success story. I thought about it. I did not think it was possible.
Yeah.
But now, look if they can do it and they're a young couple, I know I can do it. And I've been at my job for 10, 20 years or whatnot. It's like, hey, my tagline is, we are here to help. And I'm here to educate you. And that's one of my taglines. It's like, hey, come and have that free consultation. I do a complimentary consultation for all my buyers, all my sellers, so they can know, and at least they can build their action plan with me. Cool. And they can actually see. And I have noticed, if they're not ready at that moment, I can help you get ready. It's always the momentum of, hey, what do we need to do? What are the next steps? Yep. And I'll help you get ready. I've had clients that I've helped, and maybe 6 months down the line, then they become ready. Even a year down the line, they become ready. Ooh, yeah. So it all depends on their timing, but at least I can help you.
Yeah, 100%. That's awesome that you take that approach into it all. Is that like it's not necessarily gonna happen tomorrow. It could happen in 6 months, but I'm here. Like, I've got your back, and that's again part of building the relationships of like, I've got you. Like, I'm here to help. Yep. How can I help you? It's just like the change of wording like that. Like, how can I be of service to you? Yes. And then like money comes with all that, but like, how can I help you? And then that's like the synergy of the world. You know, like if you givers gain is something I really love, and I think that.
And to fault, I think I'm a big giver.
Good.
And people see my closing gifts. One of my friends, they were like, oh yeah, and she gives really good closing gifts. I actually pay attention to what my clients like, and what are their favorite colors. All of that comes into play when it's me paying attention to detail, so that they can feel comfortable and they can know that they're trusting me in such a big transaction of buying a home for their family, because it's life-changing to be a new homeowner or even being an investor. There's a lot of people that want to get into investing in real estate and they just don't know how. So let us walk you through the steps.
Cool. All right, I'm going to ask you one more question and then we can kind of wrap her up. How do you think you've used social media as a whole? What are some of the things that you've seen to be successful, and what like advice can you give to anyone that might be trying to start off and like they are nervous, they are scared that maybe I have to do so much and just some of those thoughts? Like, what do you think about that?
So what I've learned, and there's like so many things that you can say, but one of the things, it's very simple. Just do it.
Just do it. Nike.
And be consistent.
Nike said it well.
Nike said it very well. Be fearless. Yeah. Just be fearless. Feel confident. Be confident in yourself. And that's going to show the audience your confidence. And the more confidence you have in yourself and also being consistent in your messaging, the more that your audience and your friends and your family are going to support you.
And they're going to understand what you are and what you actually stand about when you're consistent, when you like consistently say the same messaging. How I love that, because we endlessly tell our clients, like, come up with something and be about, I don't care what it is, but be about it, talk about it.
And one other thing I want to mention
before
we wrap up is also be your authentic self. And when I say consistency, don't just post about real estate. people understand, and I can tell you from experience that my personal posts have received more likes than my real estate, right? My real estate posts. But they know I do real estate.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So regardless of what your passions are, I'm a runner. I run a homeless outreach program, and I consistently do that once a month. There's so many things that I advocate because I'm passionate about that as well, that others are going to relate to you in that form as well. And then because you're messaging and you're kind of mixing it in personal and your business with your real estate, that's when people are going to really start following you and actually paying attention to what you're doing. Because it's not only real estate.
Yeah.
Everybody has, there's so many things and so many aspects of your life that you can share. And don't be scared of sharing that. And because a lot of people are like, here goes, Leticia again, but it's funny, like people always, when they see me, they're like, oh, reporting live, this is Leticia Andrade, or whatever. They kind of make fun of it, but at the same time, hola mi gente, this is Leticia Andrade reporting to you live.
Hell yeah.
They'll repeat it to me.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah.
I can't believe I just heard that.
They're like, you're like, wow, people are paying attention.
More than you think.
Yeah, people are paying attention. Even if they don't like it, they'll see you and they'll see me saying my tagline and they're like, oh, what is Leticia talking about today? Yeah. What is wisdom? My daughter's friend from college even mentioned like, oh, today's Wednesday, Wisdom Wednesday to my daughter, And so it's people are paying attention, even if they're not pressing that heart button. People are watching, people are viewing, and people are paying attention. So just be fearless, just do it. And just be consistent in doing it and mix it. Don't be all real estate. Be personal. Be what are your likes? What are your passions? All of that into one. I don't believe in business page and personal page. I
think it's all one.
Heck yeah.
All right. I have one more question because you started making me think about something. The idea of that some posts are meant to make you get likes, make you go viral, and some posts make you money. And where the differentiating point of that is, like, because I come from the idea of, like, the things that are going to make me money might be more educational, might be more informative, but the things that are going to give me more likes are going to be the personal vibe, the, like, more I think there is a good, at least in my opinion, there's a fine line between them both. And I think as a business professional, coming across as the expert to me and is about, I want to make money. And that's, I guess, that's like a half-baked idea up there, but it's, I don't know, it's something I'm thinking about. It's like half-baked, but you know what I mean?
What I usually do, and this is just based off of my experience, right?
Yeah, keep going.
When I do my educational posts and my, real estate posts or, kind of like, the storytelling posts, I always have a call to action. What is a call to action? Is like letting them know, hey, hashtag I'm here to help. Give me a call. I will give you a complimentary consultation.
I love that.
Call me, email me, whatever it is. That call to action, even if they don't execute that very moment, and I'll put it there, call me today in all caps, and I'll have my phone number there, my email, there, or DM me, whatever it is. But that call to action, if they're not ready to execute at that very moment, they'll read it and they'll be reminded that when they are ready, they will call me. And that's where it's like, can I get leads from Instagram and Facebook? The answer is always yes. And you just have to be consistent. You have to always let them know. My phone number is there. My email address is there. And that call to action button is like, hello, I am here to help. When you're ready, let's build your action plan and let's do it today. So it's just that, consistency, let's go mentality. You're building that momentum. You're giving them that energy.
Let's go.
And once you get that energy and and they know that you're confident in what you're talking about and what you're saying, the more they're going to follow you and the more leads you're going to get.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Drop the mic.
Thank you so much for being here today. Is there anything else that you want to tell any of our audience? Anything that you want to plug?
Yeah, man.
It's all you.
I want to plug so many things. Sold by Leticia is definitely my tagline. I also do a lot of charity work. I am running the London Marathon this year, April 23rd, 26.2 miles for one of my charities, Back on My Feet. I'm raising $10,000 for them, and I definitely love that. And that derived from my love of doing my homeless outreach. I consistently serve on my homeless outreach. We give to our homeless community right here in Chicago. We go out on the third Saturday of every month and serve our homeless community. It doesn't matter if you're in real estate or whatever, right? I do have a Christian base, and sometimes we go out there and pray for people and love on people.
Cool.
But it's for everyone. And so I invite all of my friends, family, real estate, anybody to come out and serve with us. If you're not able to serve, we do accept donations. We collect, we just finished our Share the Warmth drive.
Nice.
Where we were collecting hats, gloves, scarves, gently used coats, blankets, all of that good stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, you're out there.
I am out there.
Wow.
And so we collect those items. We collect toiletries.
Yeah.
So if you're not able to come physically serve with us, feel free to send us donations, and
That's
we
amazing.
actually go out there and we are serving and being the hands and feet of God to serve to our homeless community.
Beautiful.
We could go into a whole slew of what a homeless community is, but that's very near dear
amazing.
to my heart. And besides that, I'm here to help with any and all of your real estate needs.
Yeah, I'm here to help.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank
It's been
you.
a pleasure. Guys, we'll see you later. Peace.
Peace.
Heck yeah.